Hey, yo, what's going on? It's Shaaf. You're now tuned in to the Renaissance Show with my homie Alex. We'll be breaking in and giving y'all a good taste of all of the upcoming artists. Get right.
All right, so you guys are now tuned in to the Renaissance Show. My name is Alex Kuchma, and I have here with me yet another very special guest, this time an up-and-coming MC out of Buffalo, New York, and that's pretty common for this show. Buffalo, New York, Rochester, upstate New York, nevertheless. And this dude is incredible. I heard about him just recently, not too long ago, and he's dropped 2 projects so far this year. Earlier in the year he ended up dropping hashtag mood, and just recently he ended up putting out a project called hashtag free game. And I've been listening to these albums pretty much back to back on heavy rotation over the last couple weeks, and I gotta say, every time I hear one of these albums, every time I hear these songs, they grow on me and they grow on me and they grow on me. And every time I get more and more and more out of it. I started off liking a couple songs off the album. I would listen to it again and I like a couple more. And at this point, I think front to back, I think these projects are absolutely incredible. And I think it's art like this that shows the value and allows one to appreciate what is coming out of places like Buffalo, New York, and regions like upstate New York in general. This art is incredible, and I'm so excited to be able to have this conversation. Please welcome to the show the one and only Shaaf. What's good?
What's up, Alex, my man? How you doing? Buffalo, New York in the building. Shaft Boom Trap representing 716. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm doing good on my end here. I said this at the beginning of the call, but I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to speak to me. I appreciate it. I think this is going to be a good conversation, and I'm excited.
Likewise, I feel the same way, my G.
Man, so I don't know really anything about you other than you're a Buffalo cat. And right now in this scene, I think that's enough for a lot of people. I think that's enough for me, to be honest, as well. If you're coming out of Buffalo, there's a sort of authenticity that comes with that at this point, that at the very least I'm curious for. But I don't think I've heard a whack dude out of Buffalo in a long time, if ever. And so that's kind of my comeuppance to you. Is that's all I really know you as. But tell me a little bit about your, I guess, background. When did you start rapping as an MC, or even getting introduced to hip hop more kind of generally speaking? I'm not sure if you took other kind of elements seriously before rapping, but tell me a little bit about your story with hip hop culture.
Well, if you don't mind, I would like to deal with the first part of that question that you gave me, as far as being from Buffalo and that kind of like validating you. It's like people like you and to the rest of the world, it's like a big shock that there's so much good quality hip hop, especially like classic era type hip hop coming out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
But like to people like me, it's no surprise. Like we've been here forever. We really been here forever. And I always said, once somebody get through the door, it's gonna be like hellfire. Like we're gonna just be coming through left and right, because it's really so many talented artists from here. Even if you heard Conway on the Drink Champs, he was saying something to along the lines of what I'm saying right now. Like, it's a lot of artists where I'm from, and that's no joke. It really is. It's really a lot of folks down here that's really still giving you that good classic hip hop that a lot of folks in the industry is looking for. So, yeah, we kind of deep.
Man, what I find fascinating about that is, I'm new to the Buffalo scene as a whole. I was tuned into what was going on in hip hop culture more broadly speaking, but Buffalo really wasn't on the map until a lot of the artists like Griselda started coming up, 2014, 2015, 2016, etc. And now it's a totally different kind of playing field. But I'm not really aware, at least I wasn't tuned into the Buffalo scene prior to that, but I have went back and I've checked out some of these projects by cats like Benny the Butcher or Griselda, more broadly speaking, and a lot of the artists that came out of Buffalo, and some of the albums that they came out before they really ended up getting kind of recognized on the major kind of scene. And although you can see similarities to what they did then and what they did now, it did seem like they were on a different tip, right? A lot of trap kind of music. It's still hard and gutter, but it felt different, right? It felt different than what we expect from like Derringer nowadays.
It definitely was. Like, for instance, one of Conway's favorite project, probably Conway's favorite project that I ever heard from him, is a a joint called Greed, American Greed. And yeah, it got a nice like trap vibe to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, like the brand of music that I represent, like if you catch me on Instagram, that's Shaaf Boom Trap, SHAAF. And when you listen to my projects, you know I carry that Boom Trap with me. I carry that brand along with a couple of other my homies. And basically, what that is like if you listen to my music, I'm kind of like a rapper that in between the two, kind of like on some bridging the gap type shit, where
Yeah.
you get a good quality dose of boom bap, but it's still that trap essence in there. And so that's really my brand of music right there, boom trap. You get a little bit of the boom bap plus the trap.
Man, it's crazy because I think the more and more you pay attention to the scene, you start to see their influences in that type of art, right? People like El Camino, for example, and I talk about El Camino a lot on this show because I'm a big El Camino fan, for one, but I think he kind of represents a lot of what this movement really is about. But we talk about people like El
Yeah, El
Camino.
Camino's super dope.
Yeah,
He's
amazing,
super dope, man. Super talented.
amazing cat. But if you listen to his shit, like you can you can see that he has those influences, or at the very least he likes that type of music, and he ventures into that every once in a while. Someone like Conway the Machine is also a great example, right? We look at something like La Maquina, or even on from King to a God, you have songs like Anza on there with Armani Caesar, and you have shit that is a little bit further into that direction, and he sounds so comfortable and he fits so well in that. He doesn't stem too far away. It's not like you're listening to a totally different artist. You can recognize the similarities and the parallels between the art, but nevertheless, you could tell that these guys are still fans of kind of that more party-esque style music, and they try to emulate that into a lot of their sounds, and I think it works. I think it really works, and I wasn't a big fan of that type of music at all. Like, if you caught me 10 years ago, I was not listening to shit like, I don't know, what was going on 10 years ago around that same part, like Waka Flocka Flame and that type of shit. It wasn't for me. I wasn't fucking with that at all. But whatever these cats are doing, whatever cats like you are doing that kind of hint at that sound a little bit, I love it. And I'm so thankful that you guys are almost pushing my own envelope in terms of what I listen to on a regular basis. It's great.
You know what that remind me of? That remind me of when Big came through with Puffy, and they was taking their sound and putting that real gutter sound on them smooth ass soulful beats. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of
Yeah.
was like, it was what people didn't normally. That normally the type of shit Big was rapping on, you get them higher NWA type beats or whatever. But Puffy said, "No, we're gonna do this." So that's basically what it reminded me of. And it's like I don't really know what to expect from Benny or Conway, but I know that's still open for them. Like, what really got them popular and popping is the hardcore Griselda sound that Derringer and Camouflage Monk brought forefront.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, they do get down on anything. They kind of like what I consider myself. I consider myself to be a beat thought. Like, whatever beat is out there, I'm gonna go ahead and get on. I'm thotting on these beats. I don't really discriminate. You know what I'm saying? I try to stick to what people like to hear from me,
Yeah.
but just for just to fuck around and exercise, I'm gonna go ahead and rap on anything. You know what I'm saying?
Man, well said, well said. Talk about a little bit of your history. So, I kind of to stem off the question earlier, but when did you end up getting into rapping? If we want to kind of date this chronologically at all.
I've been rapping pretty much as long as I can remember. Officially, I would say around the third grade is when I started rapping. I got an uncle named C. Pope, and it's funny how things go full circle because he's the first rapper that I kind of knew, and now he come to my lab and we make beats together. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's beautiful.
But back when I was 9 years old, I used to watch him rap and shit like that. And I remember one time my mom brought me one of those Casio keyboards, and him and his man they took it from me. You know what I'm saying? Because he not that much. Oh, he like my big brother uncle type. So he took my keyboard. They locked in the room, and they was making beats and music. So that was kind of like my first experience of hip hop and curating hip hop, like being around my uncle and shit. And we used to have this radio station here in Buffalo. It was a college radio station, 91.3. It was real famous for, up and coming artists being on it. And my uncle used to like, dominate the radio station. Like he used to be all over it. So I stay up late to listen to him. And I can remember maybe about 3 years after that. When I was 9, I started writing rhymes. About 3 years after that's when I started actually recording shit. Like, we used to record songs on the and get those old tape players, and you could put the tape in. You put the CD in at the same time. We would play the CD and record,
Yeah.
rap into the back of it where the microphone was at. So we used to record songs like that. And I was doing that when I was around 12 years old, recording. Here's a particular story about me early rapping. I used to rap with this guy named Doobie Green. He had this label called Alleyway. I had to be 17, maybe 16 at the time.
Gotcha.
I ended up leaving that situation or whatever. But before I left from rapping with Doobie, I was kind of young and naive, and I was kind of like, man, he ain't putting my shit out or whatever. I was just being, kind of young and naive.
Yeah, sure.
But before I ended up leaving, like a week before that, a week or two before I ended up stopped messing with those guys no more. He was a local dope boy or whatever. He used to get money in the hood like that. And then he had an AAU basketball team. That's how I got connected with him from playing basketball or whatever. Then he found out I rap. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how I got doing the music with him or whatever. And a couple weeks before I left, he had a brother named, it was DJ Black or whatever. And he had brought me this tape or this couple songs of this cat. And he wanted me to hear it, like, yo, should we let him be down with the group or whatever? And he let me hear the shit. And the shit was dope. Nigga was dope. He was a couple years younger than me at the time. And the dude name was Benny Bravo. And so I'm like, you know what I'm saying? This shit was dope. And that Benny Bravo turned out to be Benny the Butcher,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 20 years later, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was back in the day. Alleyway Records. Like, that was way back in the day. I was like a good 15, 16 years old or something.
Man, that's crazy. It's always very insightful. Like I don't know what you classify me as, but I tend to think of myself as a hip hop historian in a lot of ways, especially like I'm studying Canadian hip hop. I'm writing a book on Canadian hip hop history, and that has me pretty deep in the Canadian hip hop kind of bucket anyhow. And I do a lot of this research. And one of the things that I'm always fascinated about is just how active these localized scenes are that aren't necessarily on the map in terms of kind of worldwide recognition of hip hop culture, but on their own, they are doing something really beautiful and creative and making amazing art once you actually take the time to listen to what's coming out of these kind of smaller pockets, geographically speaking. And whenever I talk to these cats in Buffalo, yeah, you mentioned this earlier, but you get the real kind of sense that this didn't start 5-6 years ago. This has been around, and there has been this kind of localized scene of open mic nights, of college radio shows, of all the kind of staples that you would expect in kind of a thriving hip hop community. Buffalo had that. It just didn't have the recognition on the kind of worldwide stage. But hearing these stories just communicates the sense of liveliness that Buffalo actually had. Talk about, I guess. So when you're growing up and you're working with cats like Benny or childhood friends, and you're making music anyways together, and you're trying to pop off, how are you seeing the scene around you? Do you feel like it's stale and there's not much going on, or do you feel like there's always something that you could end up doing to engage in the local scene in Buffalo, and that's kind of where your focus is at? Talk about the kind of your impression of the local scene while you're in it growing up.
To be honest, with the younger seed coming up, it was kind of disappointing and discouraging. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not really too much support, but it's kind of like, from what I see in the last couple of years, is moving around America doing things involving with the music. It's kind of what I see like going on everywhere. Like usually with this type of music, you get a lot more support, which is crazy. Like in suburban areas, it's like kind of easier to do it, to get what you're trying to get done.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And the fans' response seemed to be a lot better and stuff. But coming up around here, it was kind of a struggle because it was like, we Buffalo, New York City is New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like they had so much attention, and then once the scene started to go away from New York City, that's when it started to go towards obviously Atlanta. So nobody really thinking about nobody from Buffalo. Ain't shit going on. We lost 4 Super Bowls. We like a laughing stock. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Only thing we really had was Rick James. And so when and like you said, Benny and them boys, not only was I could attest that he been doing this shit. Benny Conway, the whole gang, Shay and all them boys been doing it. Not 5 years ago, but 20, maybe 25 years in the making. It really has been. We just talking about artists that's close to 40 years old. And they've been doing this shit for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? Especially Shay. But rest in peace.
Rest in peace, DJ
But
Shay, 100%.
But it's like for them boys to actually get in, now it's like it's a door that's been opened up, man. Like if you really got it, man, you could get something. You don't got to worry about trying to get down with Griselda or get down with Benny or Conway. You could go ahead and be your own artist and be your own self and still eat off of the Buffalo brand. You see what I'm saying? And that's kind of like what that second album, Free Game, is about. It's like me, I've been listening to hip hop for a long time to the point where you could play somebody. I could hear a rapper from Brooklyn, and I could be like, "Yo, he from Brooklyn." I could hear a rapper from Compton. I could say, "You know what? Half sound like he from Compton." You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or from Houston or whatever. I could pretty much pick a brand. So
There's
what a
an
lot of artists in
aesthetic
Buffalo
identity, yeah.
right.
100%.
And so
I
what a
agree.
lot of artists from Buffalo need to recognize is that this same thing is going to apply to you if you just be yourself. You dig? You don't have to go out there and try to sound like Benny or try to sound like Conway or sound like Wes. You know what I'm saying? Or sound like Shay Norris or 38 Special. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You go out there and sound like yourself, and you still going to resonate and register to the listeners as a Western New York artist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really interesting because what you have seen is, once, again, 15 years ago when I'm listening and kind of doing my homework and checking out a lot of these songs from Cats from Buffalo, kind of their earlier demo shit, it sounds so drastically different than what they sound on now. And I get the impression that what you're saying is kind of ringing true to a lot of people, but people are starting to emulate that Griselda sound, right? And almost copycat it to a degree because you have everyone that comes out of Buffalo, and not everyone, and there's a lot of different style and kind of uniqueness involved, but you do get a specific sound that is curated towards Buffalo that just kind of comes off in the music, I think. But I think one of the things that I've valued as a music fan and as a fan of this kind of movement is that everyone brings something a little bit different to the table, right? Like even within, if we talk about Griselda, like you have Benny the Butcher, Conway, West Side Gun, these guys are drastically different in terms of their sound and their style, but they communicate a similar theme anyhow, and they fit together thematically. Whereas someone like, if you think about even in Rochester, people like Mooch and Riggs and Maz and people that are coming out of DeCloth, those guys sound so unique and individualized, right? I know you can talk about voice and whatnot and say like, oh, maybe this dude sounds like this dude. You get Mooch sounding like West Side Gun a lot, but if you actually listen to those artists, they're handling their craft in a very unique way. And I think for maybe the outsider that's not so tapped into what's going on, maybe they would listen to this and everything would kind of bleed in together and they wouldn't really be able to tell the difference between one MC to the next. But I think the more and more you listen to this shit, you really learn to appreciate the stylistic differences between one cat to another. But I do think overall, you run this fear of people wanting to mimic what's currently hot. And I'm glad that the Griselda sound is currently hot. That's amazing, because I'm a fan of that type of music. But you never want that to to infringe upon the stylistic differences of the individual, right? That individual is always so important. You want to be able to relate and know who that artist is just by listening to their music. And if they're copying another sound, you'll never be able to do so.
Exactly.
Man.
And a lot of people be intertwined too. Like, you know, like Shay and Kid Cole was pretty close. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if you know who Kid Cole is, but Kid Cole is pretty big in the industry. He worked with DMX. He worked with Ashanti. Before Griselda got into the game, he was our guy that had, you know, things accomplished in the industry. But he's not a rapper or anything like that. He's an engineer and producer and to that nature or whatever. But it's like
It feels like Shay
yeah, you could
filled
expect
those boots too, right? Like it felt like Shay was always connected to everything else, and it felt like Shay was a kind of local hero in the scene, in a lot of ways. At least from the stories that I've been told.
Anybody will tell you, you know, I ain't down with Griselda or BSF or nothing or nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But anybody will tell you that's affiliated with them or anybody in the town will let you know that Shay was the backbone of all of that. Like ever since Shay made one of my favorite projects of all time, and it was called the Unsigned City. And that's like the holy grail to Griselda. Like that's like, you know, where it all started. That's where he started really showcasing the talent that was around the town. That's where he took maybe the best dozen MCs, the best dozen artists. You know, it was R&B cats on there and everything, and it was all on there like as a compilation of all the best people from the town, and the shit was super fire. And that right there really ignited, you know what I'm saying, like the switch and like Shay really started, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody know what West did and how Conway got signed to Shady and then Benny getting signed with Jay and all that, but Shay really was the man that really got boys together. And you know, he was the OG too. You know, Conway, Benny and West, they all around the same age, but Shay older, you know what I'm saying?
Man, somebody needs to take the time out and do the research properly and write a book on Buffalo hip hop scene, on the history of the Buffalo hip hop scene, and talk about those pivotal releases, right? Things that were important to the city, things like the Unsigned City compilation, right? Like these pieces of history that just go overlooked by people that aren't really on the inside and don't really haven't lived in the Buffalo scene. Someone needs to take the time out and write that story on paper. It's from what it's became now to what it was, and seeing and hearing these little stories, it's an important story to be told.
Yeah, it definitely is. We definitely, especially what Griselda doing, and then, you know, what other artists coming up, you know what I'm saying, like myself, and then you got the whole gang that Drum Work bringing, you know what I'm saying, the whole gang that BSF bringing.
Yep.
Like hopefully we continue making noise and making a bigger spotlight on the town, and it looked good for us right now. You know what I'm saying? It looked very good for us right now.
One of the things that I've noticed as a fan is the connections between not just Buffalo and artists within Buffalo, but also kind of neighboring cities. So places like Rochester or places like Niagara. And of course, there's like a geographic proximity there as well. And even if you go into like Southern Ontario, places like Toronto, for example, you now have cats like Daniel Son and Future Wave and Lord Juco and Raz Fresco and all these cats that are coming out of Toronto. But geographically speaking, they're so close to places like Buffalo, and you start to see a lot of these relationships become connected. And a lot of if you pay attention to the blogs, you'll see Buffalo names on Rochester projects. You'll see Rochester names on Buffalo projects. You'll see Niagara dudes on Rochester projects, etc. And you just start to see how kind of intertwined this all is. I feel like this whole kind of upstate New York, maybe Southern Ontario, maybe a little bit surrounding areas and different areas as well. I feel like that's really come to light over the last few years in general. But when you were growing up, did you see that those connections were in place as kind of, I guess, like I don't want to say a primitive Buffalo scene, but like the Buffalo scene before this new wave kind of exploded? Did you see those connections between Rochester and Buffalo kind of so intertwined as you do now, or were you guys kind of on a separate tip from city to city?
It definitely always been intertwined. And that got to do with hip hop and then things outside of hip hop, things going in the street, basketball, things like that. Like I got a lot of friends from Syracuse and Rochester I play ball with. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So they might have a friend that make music or they might make music. So we always been kind of connected like that. Maybe not that much because it's not like we really that close. It's 90 minutes between here and Rochester, but we close enough to where we some relationships do be established like that, and that's how you got on. Benny used to work with Trust. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you got Shay North from Buffalo, and she down with Trust, and they based in Rochester or whatever.
Yeah, and like even El Camino that we mentioned earlier, like he's released projects under trust multiple times at this point, right? And not just the Benny the Butcher, or sorry, not just the 38 special produced albums. He's put out material on trust, but he's Buffalo Cat. You just
38 special was a genius, man. Like I won't go ahead and say that he a genius. The nigga is raw. He raw as fuck. The
It's one of
shit
my
he be
favorites.
saying. Yeah, the where he puts you at, what he made you think about. He just dope. You know what I'm saying? And him, and I feel like Shay Nord too. You know what I'm saying? Shay Nord is a fucking animal, man. She kind of like, to me, she like the female Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
And
that's such a good comparison. I had this conversation just a few weeks ago with a buddy of mine, but I don't think I've been that excited or this excited about a female rapper since maybe like I first heard MC Light. And I'm a younger dude and I didn't live in the 80s or even the kind of early 90s while this shit was going on. But going back and doing my homework, MC Light's always been by far my favorite female rapper. And I don't really like, I appreciate and I respect a lot of the talent that's come out in hip hop on both sides of kind of the gender spectrum, right? But at the same time, I have to be real and say, like, I don't generally fuck with a lot of female rappers. Like, I don't have them in my like iPod, for example, or I don't like listen to their tapes in a Walkman, or I like it's just not my kind of current constant rotation all the time. But there's
right,
something about Shay Noir that just does it for me. She works in such a like an incredible way. She's hard. She's kind of she spits like real kind of real shit, but she does it in such a confident way, and she sounds good while she does it, right? One of my favorites, and actually outside of MC Light, one of my favorites was Dessa from Doomtree, and she was incredible, but she did something different, right? She really played into her feminine side, or even someone like No Name. I like No Name a lot, but she kind of plays into that kind of feminine persona, and she doesn't come off as like a really hard rapper. That's not her goal. That's not her intent. And I like her music, but a lot of these rappers, a lot of these women that come out and try to sound like hard rappers, for whatever reason, it doesn't really work with me. But Chez Noir, super fucking dope. It works. It works in like every
authentic.
angle.
That's because her shit is authentic. You know what I'm saying? She really, you know what I'm saying? Really from there. She really from the bottom of Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
but she was on my first album. You know what I'm saying? She featured on the song
yeah,
Too Comfortable with my homie Mario Grand and Shamaya Drake. That's my daughter singing on the hook. And you know what I'm saying? She did her thing on that joint, but she was featured on my first album, but she honestly got more influence on my second album without being featured because you know what I'm saying, once she dropped her EP after 12, you know what I'm saying, produced by her, that shit kind of like really inspired me to start using more of my beats, you know what I'm saying? So on my second album, that's when I ended up using, I think I used out of 13 songs, 7 or 8 of those beats is mine that I produce myself.
Wow. Man. Yeah, I think she's one that I get excited for whenever she's about to like drop new material, and I get like I anticipate her future material, and I guess that's the big difference, right? Like I can listen to even someone like Nicki Minaj, for example. I don't buy her albums. I don't like really fuck with her music in that way. But if I listen to a Nicki Minaj verse, I can often sit back and be like, "Oh yeah, that was a really dope verse. Like she did a good job on that track, right?" I can like respect that performance, but it's not the shit I get excited about. Like I'm never like, "Oh man, I'm fiending for the new Nicki Minaj album to come out." Like that's not something that goes through my head. But when it comes to this girl, man, Shay
I'll be
Noir,
flat
fuck, so
out
good.
honest. I don't really rock with Nicki Minaj shit at all. You know what I'm saying? Now to be honest, I'm a fan of Cardi B because God damn, that's Cardi B. She fine as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Fair
Like
enough,
I'm a
fair enough.
fan of her. I'm a fan of that. You dig? And if the music is, I listen to the music, but I want to see her. You know what I'm saying? But
Sure, sure.
motherfucking Nicki, uh, I don't know. I ain't really jacking Nicki because I feel like, I'm really from like the older era where it's, you know what I'm saying? Like I was a fan of Biggie and Bad Boy and everything that was going on, and I just feel like, years ago when it was between Nicki and Kim, I feel like Nicki was being disrespectful and it was unwarranted. It was kind of uncalled for, and it's like, like shit. I really know this music, and I don't care how Nicki take it. You know what I'm saying? But her style is she a baby of Little Kim and Missy Elliott.
Yep, I would agree
Like
with that too.
she, she like, and then how you not gonna be cool with these people when you really you're not original at all. That's like Kobe coming in the league saying fuck Mike. You know what I'm saying? And you doing his whole style.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I'm saying?
I totally agree. I was a kid when Super Duper Fly came out, 99, 2000, whatever it was, with Missy Elliott. But that shit I like too. And Lil Kim as well. Like she put out some shit that it like I actually kind of fucked with. But again, not people that I
Right.
really resonated with. Is like I wouldn't say like
Exactly.
I wouldn't talk to people and be like, "Oh man, like what music do you listen to?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm a big like Lil Kim fan." Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
Yeah,
said
you be
that.
weird. Yo, dude, weird as hell. He listen, yo, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, you
But
know Alex? Yeah, that nigga, yeah, he listen to Lil Kim. He weird as hell, right?
exactly, exactly.
Nah.
There was a statement that was related when you would make those kind of claims, and truthfully, even personally, I don't think it was even true. Like I don't think I really ended up fucking with those artists in that way. Not like I do when I don't know, like Conway the Machine drops a new project, right? Like I get fucking stoked about that shit. I'm so hyped that he's gonna be putting out that Shady Records debut soon. Like I'm listening to the first single, Piano Love. I'm loving it. I'm showing it to people. I identify as a Conway the Machine fan, and I identify as a Shay Noir fan. Anyway, she's dope. She's one of my favorites, and I'm glad we were able to have this conversation about her because shout outs to Shay Noir. She's fucking amazing.
I've been in the lab, I produce, I engineer. My album, I mixed and mastered all of it except for any R&B you hear. I took it to Kid Cole, and Kid Cole, he engineered the R&B for me. He mixed the R&B for me. But the
Gotcha.
rest of my album, I mix and master the rest of it. I've been in the lab last few weeks with Conway little brother. I've been engineering for him and shit.
Shots.
Shots. I know you heard of him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
speaking of Shots on
been
Wednesday.
working with him and shit. Yeah, he a dope young artist, man. He got a real good work ethic. He got a good work pattern. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, shit, he Conway little brother. You know what I'm saying? So
Man, he's one of those
you
cats that
gonna
haven't
expect.
put out a whole lot of material, but everything I've heard from him, the singles that he's put out are really, really dope. And then, and on a different level too. We were talking about like those people that were like kind of rolling with the Griselda dudes, but at the same time, putting out music that's a little bit different stylistically, right? Like Shots has some like pretty like
Mm-hmm.
much like trap songs, right? But they work really well, and I really fuck with them.
Right.
But
Now
even like his features,
before I met Shots, because Shots is on, he on Conway album, he on La
Lamar,
Manica album
yeah,
or whatever.
Lamakona, and the Big Ghost Project too.
Right. So I heard that verse just before I even met him or whatever. And that's like one of my favorite verses off the album. He reminded me of my big bro Dirty Nate. like the way he sounded on that shit. He sounded just like Dirty Nate, the way he was rapping. Dirty Nate passed, you know what I'm saying, a few years ago or whatever.
Oh shit.
He a well known MC from Buffalo or whatever. And so I'm like, damn, this motherfucker sounds just like Dirty Nate, you know what I'm saying? So I meet him, and you know what I'm saying, he a younger cat or whatever. But yeah, he worked. I like the way he worked. You know what I'm saying? He worked hard. He got a good idea of what he should be doing. And you know what I'm saying? You only expect a good future for him. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm really excited to see what not only Shots does, but a lot of the artists that are coming out of Drumwork as well, right? Lucky Seven is amazing in my opinion. Everyone that's coming out of that whole roster is really on something special, and I'm so excited
Yeah,
to see
that's the
what
truth.
Drumwork is able to do for them.
Lucky Seven. I like. You know what I'm saying, when I catch them boys live, Lucky Seven. I like Lucky. You know what I'm saying? I like his performance. I like how he carry his shit. You dig?
Yeah, he's dope.
I fuck with all them motherfuckers too, for real though. They all dope. Love. I've been on Love since they was calling her Felicia Perry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like
Yeah.
her shit dope. She dope as hell. She got levels to her shit. They all do. J Skis nasty. J Skis really be taking control of the crowd. They
Yep.
be out there on the tour and shit. So yeah, they all dope, man.
Man,
For me, I'm just trying to make my own way into this game. You know what I'm saying? However shit may be.
Yeah, so this year has been pretty special for you. So you put out 2 projects, and again, for those listening at home, actually, if you're listening to this on the radio, then you're going to be hearing select songs from Shaaf throughout the radio show. So there you go. You got a little bit of an introduction, but still do your homework and check out those projects. But if you're watching this on the Renaissance Show on YouTube, take the time out. Take the time out and pause this interview. Listen to the 2 new projects, the 2021 projects by Shaaf. They're called #Mood and then separately hashtag. What's the second one? Free game.
Free game.
Yes.
Hashtag free game.
So listen to these projects and then come back and like check out this interview, but take the time out and actually listen to these music.
That's Shaaf, SHAAF, 2 A's, 1 F, SHAAF. Check me out.
Exactly. But man,
I guarantee. And see, my thing about after y'all pause that and come back, you know what I'm saying? My thing about my music is, and no, right, I got an EP right now, like cocked back, ready to go. You know what I'm saying? But those 2 are LPs, and what I really wanted to do was give you the essence of an album. You know what I'm saying? Like with the way the songs blend into the next, and even with the interludes and the texture and the tempos.
Yeah.
I really wanted you to be able to listen to it in the concession and really get a vibe from it, from both of them. You know what I'm saying? So that was really my aim at the joint, to really be a vibe. #Mood is really, you know, like it's a move. You know what I'm saying? And hashtag free game is the end of the same thing. It's free game. Like one of the feature tracks on Free Game is called Put You On. And the whole message behind that song is ain't nobody gonna put you on. It's game. You got a lot of artists nowadays that have a misunderstanding of that, to where they be feeling like somebody is gonna somebody's gonna look out and really throw them the game and hand it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been working with I've been working with Shots, and even Shots understand that the game not about to be handed to him. Even with you know what I'm saying, Conway being his big brother, you know what I'm saying, Wes being his cousin, he still understand that he got to work and he got things that he got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To establish himself as the artist, and then you get a lot of independent artists or whatever, and what they want is they want somebody to come save them, and somebody to come do all of this type of work for them. And that shit just ain't gonna happen, because nowadays, anything you got going on, anything you might need from a motherfucker rather put that money into themselves instead of put it in you. So you gotta really figure out. And as long as you really for real and really true to this shit and really got it in your heart to succeed, it can happen for you. But you gotta be real about it. You gotta bust your moves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, your business has to be correct, your art has to be like correct, and you have to approach it with a sense of legitimacy, right? And a sense of quality. Um, and drive. I think hunger speaks a lot, right? People see you out there, even just on social media, but they see you out there and promoting your material and doing it in an authentic way. I have a buddy, Nate, Imperative. He just put out he has a new 7-inch coming out soon with Benny the Butcher and Rick Hyde. And he has another song that just came out recently with Rick Hyde that's been getting play on DJ Premier's show and DJ Eclipse's show, and he's fantastic. He's a great beat maker, but he's been doing things in Canada for a while. In Vancouver, he was doing things, and he moved to Ontario and started doing things there as well, and working with some of this scene. But the way he's been able to rebrand himself over the last 6 months, a year, he's taken this business model that's working well and branding himself as a legitimate artist in this, right? And quality is always kind of the first thing that comes, or the first, I guess the highest priority is quality, right? And to do it in this most legitimate and authentic way as possible, and believe in yourself, and then have the drive in order to send that belief to the rest of the world. I think the business end of things, and again, the art has to be quality. People aren't going to listen to you if your shit's whack. Well, it doesn't matter how good your business standpoint is, in my opinion. At least with kind of the underground hip hop community, people just aren't going to fuck with you. Maybe you can get a major label deal or do something in that route, but that's whatever. But your business and your art has to be like top quality. And when I listen to something like Free Game, for example, I see that in you. Like the quality of this project from song after song after song. We talk about mood being a little bit more of kind of a mood piece. This album has variation on it. It has different moods. It goes up and down, and you get this kind of winding road of the album, and it takes you for a bit of a journey as you're listening to this thing sonically and aesthetically. But I think overall it comes together as you said, it has a theme, not just in terms of subject matter, but I also think in terms of style to some degree, right? It doesn't sound like a mess, right? It's a cohesive project. It's not just the subject matter that's bringing this thing together, but at the same time, it offers enough variation that things don't become stale. It's not boring from song after song. It's not like you're listening to the same beat over and over and over again. Yeah. There's a lot to love out of this thing, and then you as an MC, incredible on here. Like the way you sound confident, you sound like you're able to play with the structure of some of these songs and have fun with it, and still be confident enough that you can do so without ever sacrificing quality, right? That you can play around and have fun in the studio and bend some of these words a little bit or add a little bit extra flair to a specific line or song, and it never feels like you're trying too hard. It just feels natural and organic. And I think that's the quality of like a seasoned MC, a veteran MC. And I think you have those qualities. You say that you were rapping since 9 years old. You were recording since 12 years old. You can tell. This album, you can tell. And I think that's the same for Mood as well. I'll be honest, I've listened to Free Game a lot more than I've listened to Mood, but I have checked out both projects in their entirety a few times over. But you as a quality MC, as a seasoned MC, comes off on here. And I think if people actually take the time to check out the art, they're going to be I think they'll be surprised because you're not a name that everyone knows. Let's be honest. A lot of people just don't really know who you are. This is going to be an introduction to you in a lot of different cases. Not this podcast or anything. I'm not going to say that. But these projects that you put out, the Mood and Free Game, in a lot of cases, these are going to be the first projects that people ever hear from you. And I think they're going to be surprised by the quality. But I also think they're going to get an idea of who you are as an artist. And I think these projects are enough of a standout that you're going to be checking on your name in future months, in future years, and be tapped into what you're currently doing as an artist. I don't want to sit here and dick ride you for another 20 minutes or whatever, but fuck, man, you're dope. You're dope, and you deserve that praise. 100% you deserve that praise.
I appreciate it, man. I really been building my craft, like I said, since I've been a boy. You know what I'm saying? So I've been writing rhymes. I stopped writing rhymes down on paper when I was like 13, 14 years old. You know, I used to work with one of my buddies, and we used to make songs together. We was like a little duo, and we went to this, and we used to do it like at his crib. His older brother was a DJ, so we used to go spend money on vinyls to get instrumentals. So whatever was the hottest song out, we'd get the instrumental and we'd rap over it and shit like that. And one time we went to a different studio, and I ain't had my rap book and he had his, and I had to remember my rhyme. And I delivered it so much, you know, with so much more confidence and just, you know what I'm saying, without the paper, that I said, you know what, I'm going to keep trying that. And ever since I was a good 14 years old, I stopped writing my rhymes down and just keeping them in my head. And I go right there and just knock it right out. And a lot of times I one-shot it and shit like that. And like the type of music you're getting right now from me is the way my setup is. I literally will fall asleep working on music. I literally wake up before I go do anything. I might go lay a verse down, or I might go finish a beat or something like that, because like the upstairs of my house is just a bedroom, a barbershop, in the studio. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it is. Upstairs, downstairs you got 2 bedrooms, kitchen, bathroom, and all of that. But upstairs, that's all I got. And so that's how the music actually comes, because I literally live in the studio. I literally wake up and get right to work.
Man, it's crazy that you said that about your process in terms of not writing the shit down. I had a conversation with Graf recently, and it's interesting because not only did he say that he it was basically like you, he didn't write his rhymes down. But the comment that I made on that was basically the same comment I just made to you as well, which is you can almost tell, like the shit, whenever you're listening to this new Graf album, he has so much fun, and you can tell he's playing around with the way he's structuring his raps. And I don't think that you could necessarily do that if you were so methodical in writing every line down and trying to put it all on paper. I think there would be, I'm not a rapper, I'm not an MC, and I don't have experience doing that. That being said, I think that there would be a natural challenge to feeling natural and organic and being able to play around and have fun in the studio when everything is written down and calculated to a T. I like the approach of going in with an idea in your head and with rhymes formulated in your head for sure, but then going in and just having fun in the studio and allowing that fun and that excitement to come off on the record. And I think Graf's album did that excellently. And the fact that you just mentioned that you didn't write your rhymes, that's the same feeling that I ended up getting from your album as well. You have enough confidence in your own abilities that you're able to play around and have fun with it. And that's really interesting that you ended up saying that anyhow.
Yeah, I haven't wrote rhymes down. I can't remember the last time I did. No, actually, I tried maybe like a year or two. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna see if I write it down. Like, would I be doper? And I couldn't even fucking deliver it. Once it came time for me to get back and like spit it, I was like, yo, I'll never try that shit again. It feels so awkward and so weird.
You're reading.
I couldn't even rap it back. Yeah, I was like, man, let me not ever try that shit ever again.
Fair enough. Oh man, this year has been incredible for you. So as I said before, quite a few times now, but you have 2 projects that you dropped in 2021. You have the Mood album, #Mood, and you have the Free Game album, #Free Game. And those are available on streaming platforms, Spotify, I assume Apple Music, and Tidal as well. For those listening at home, take the time out, check out those projects, and listen to this interview afterwards. But this has been a hectic year for you. This has been a busy year for you. You put out multiple projects, and it seems like this is a turning point in your career. You've been rapping since you were 9. You've been recording since you were 12. Why Why start taking things a little bit more seriously in 2021? What's your mentality kind of shift been like over the last 12 months?
My mentality shift in the last 12 months is more of a reflection of my shift in maybe the last 36 months, and it's just starting to blossom in the last 12 or whatever.
Gotcha.
But in the last 36 months till now, I just been taking a lot of losses. You know what I'm saying? And Moo is it's 11 songs. You know what I'm saying? And I lost my mom's before I released Moo. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like a year before I released Moo, I lost my mom's.
Sorry to hear that.
I was in Atlanta at the time. I was opening up on like the first plugs I met tour, like September 19,
Yeah.
2019 or whatever. Was in Atlanta opening up, and that's when she passed away from cancer. This is like before the pandemic popped off or whatever, and so that right there was more like not like a turning point in my career, but more like a turning point in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when I had because I'm coming back from Atlanta, we had drove down there to do the performance, and so I'm riding all the way back from Atlanta, and you know I'm riding with the people I went down there with, and I'm crying the whole time. I can't stop crying. You know what I'm saying? And so I damn near wanted to give up on the music, and I kind of did for a minute. I fell back. Then I started doing things like shooting videos. I shot a video for my homie Jonesy. He down with BSF and whatever.
Okay.
And it was only a few months before I got back to it. But that's when I got back to it with a more serious, like yeah, I gotta be serious about this shit, because like you could hear my music and you could tell I ain't just start 5 years ago. You could tell I've been doing this shit for a while.
Exactly.
But I haven't been releasing music. Like I got a hard drive with tons of music on it, like old music. Like even now to this day, both of my albums I released, both of those albums got at least one song that's at least 6, 7, 8 years old on it.
Wow.
Both of them.
Do you care to detail which songs those are?
Well, let me see. On #Move, think about it. The first song is Wish. Second song, the third song, Got Me Feeling, with me and Moni Adios. We recorded that, I would say, in 2016, maybe 2017. That's old. The song I Came Up on there. That song is about 5 years old.
Wow.
And now on Free Game, my new album, the song Out the Mud,
Man.
that song was recorded. That song was recorded in at least 2000 and I would say 16 as well. That's when I made that song Out the Mud.
That's a dope cut. That's one of my favorites. I'd say Counting, Out the Mud. Yeah, I'd say those are my two favorite songs off of Free Game.
All That Easy. All That Easy. That song that I got with Winter Gonzalez. That song is old. I just actually took the vocals off of so some other chick and redo it. But that song is old as dirt too.
Gotcha. So you start doing these videos and you're shooting these videos, you have old recorded material. Why put out music, and why put out these two projects?
Say it again.
So you're shooting these videos for other people. You're recording music all the time, and you're perfecting your craft in terms of that. But these two albums, these come out this year. Why put out these two albums? It seems like you are, again, as you said, you kind of lost a lot of your drive to be a rapper. It seems like that is starting to become a focus again. What's the change?
Like I said, the losses is what really motivated me. Like losing my mom's. Yeah. You could basically say #Mood is a dedication to her. 11. It's 11 songs in there. Her birthday coming up. Her birthday is 11/11. It's 11 songs on there. The last song is a song I produced, and it's a dedication of her to her life, celebration of her life on the last song on there. And then the album Free Game, it's damn, it's kind of like just a reflection of me. Like I said, I got all this music in my hard drive that I haven't dropped. That's timeless and still relevant. I could release it right now, and if I don't tell you, you won't know. You know what I'm saying? But Free Game, I had that album pretty much ready to go in April. You know what I'm saying? And I end up adding maybe 2 songs to it, but it was
Gotcha.
pretty much ready to go. And it's just life just started catching up to me. And then I took a big loss too, man. A loss that kind of hurt me. I was taking losses along the whole time. Friend of mine named Milo G. He was from Chicago. He was rapping with me with Alleyway. He passed away. He passed away in his sleep. And then I had a friend of mine named Apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? We call him Marshall around the hood. Same thing with him. He passed away in his sleep.
Oh
Needless
shit.
to say, you know what I'm saying? Leave kids. We gotta leave the drugs alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotta be careful with all these new type of drugs that's going on and stuff, because shit, you could pass away in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? But then I had another friend of mine that I got another friend of mine that he got close to me. He was working with my gang. You know what I'm saying? My FME Boom Trap family. His name was Izzy Jones. You know what I'm saying? And he got murdered a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying? I think like in August or whatever.
Fuck.
That shit kind of really hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was only 27 and he was like starting to come into his own. You know what I'm saying? And we was like an unlikely duo, but you know what I'm saying? We had mutual friends. You know what I'm saying? That basically was a connection between me and him, and it was like I was kind of like, without noticing it, I was kind of like a big bro to him. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? We was doing stuff with the clothing and stuff like that, putting him on the game. He put me on and shit like that. But where me and him really start linking was I lost a friend of mine named Fresh not too long ago, and and so we had this thing called Fresh Day every year. You know what I'm saying? And this was the first Fresh Day after I lost my mom's, and I was in my feelings or whatever, so I stepped off or whatever. And Izzy had noticed it. You know what I'm saying? And I guess he felt for me because he had just lost his aunt, Auntie Sam or whatever. So that's when me and him started. That's when we started hanging out, linking. You know, we started coming through to do music and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? We just got close. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause we both went through the same kind of losses. You know what I'm saying? At the same time or whatever. So we kind of got close or whatever. And so it's like just his last week of his life was kind of like shocking and traumatic for me, because I was seeing him damn near out of that 7 days of the week. I seen him 4-5 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The spot where he just got murdered at, I just went and picked him up 2 nights before he got murdered there. Shit like that. So just kind of like fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? That little bro went out like that. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm so sorry to hear all of that, but it's crazy that you've been able to turn these losses into art, and into beautiful art at that. I love these albums. These are, I say this a lot, but I think it's important to give people their flowers, at least while they're here. But this movement in general, not just you, but this movement in general, I think in 10, 20, 30 years, we're going to be looking back at this time in hip hop and say that there was something truly special here. And the movement that we're in right now, I think, is like almost a new golden era of rap music. But I'm so thankful that these artists are putting in the work to contribute art, and amazing art, to this movement. This isn't weekly music. There's enough music right now that, yes, if you want to stay up to date, this is going to be in your week's rotation, and then you're going to be on to the next shit, and you're going to constantly do that. And you'll pick a few songs here and there, an album here or there, to bring forward with you. But it's not about that. This is about when it's 10, 20 years down the line, and this movement has come and gone, and we're able to sit here and do our homework, and this is going to be, these few years are going to be a lifetime music, right? This is a lifetime supply of new music that we're getting right now, and it's so condensed, and it's gonna be that lifetime's worth of music. And I'm so thankful to people like you that have made these albums, because Mood and Free Game, this is lifetime music. This is shit I'm going to return to in 10, 20, 30 years, and I'm going to be like, ah, fuck, this was such a good album. Like, this is great, and be sharing it with other people and trying to get other people
Yeah,
educated on the
I
music.
make shit. My music is for the folks that like to drive slow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's like if I could describe it
Yeah.
like real. If you like to drive, if you like to drive slow, just breeze and mix in with traffic and be cool and take it easy. That's what my music. My music is for you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm on just we
Well
just gonna
said.
relax a little bit. It's gonna get a little intense at times, but we're gonna relax. We're gonna look at things and you know what I'm saying. That's where my music is gonna put you at, man. We on some cool shit.
Well
We on
said.
some cool shit.
So, what do you currently have coming up? What's on the radar for the remainder of 2021, if anything, and say first quarter, second quarter, first half of 2022? What's currently on the agenda? What can we expect from Shaaf going forward?
Right now, I'm really debating dropping this Friday. I probably won't. Something I'm saying. I'm probably about to take a little trip. That's gonna delay that. So if not
Okay.
this Friday, I might drop. I'm thinking about dropping this month because, like I said, I make music every day. I got so much music, and it's been kind of like a bad habit of mine not releasing music. But I don't want to oversaturate it. But at the same time, I really don't know what is the best move for me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I feel. Maybe I might put out too much music. Maybe I might not. But I can really afford to put out a lot of music. Like I really can. I could put out a project every month. You know what I'm saying? Like and my shit ain't gonna never be watered down. But right now I got a project cocked back ready to go called Confidence. And the
Godfidence or
thing about this
confidence?
project, yeah, no, it's confidence, like God and confidence mixed
Gotcha.
up in one word. And the thing about this is definitely a switch up from what you've been getting from me in hashtag move and hashtag free game. It's not a hashtag, first of all. You know what I'm saying? I believe the majority of my albums, LPs, will probably be hashtag before the title. But this is a EP. It's only 5 songs, and that's one thing that's unique about it. Another thing is only one producer on it. You know what I'm saying?
Who's
This guy named
producing?
Spapuda.
Oh man, he is dope. He's someone I would love to get him on the show,
Spapuda.
but he's fantastic. He put out a project just recently as well, and I was intrigued because of the features that he had on there. He had a bunch of Buffalo Cats and some pretty big names off there. I
Right.
forget who exactly, but there was some ill cats on there, and I checked it out, and he's an incredible beatsmith. He's someone that
And
I
so
think everyone should be
that's
checking
kind of
out on
like
Saipuda.
that's kind of like my whole thing with doing it. First of all, he ill. He
Yeah,
ill, and every time I hear one of his joints that I like, I literally just walk on it. As soon as I get the beat loaded up into my DAW, I'll be damn near done with the song. It's, you know what I'm saying? I eat fast. You know what I'm saying? When I
yeah.
when I when I when I hear his joints or whatever, and yeah, he been putting out projects, and it's like sometimes in rap you got to take what you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I like yeah, like I feel real good about myself, and so everybody that you hear over them beats, I want you to hear me over those beats too. You dig?
Man,
I
Saipuda
feel real good about myself.
Saipuda and Shaaf, man, that's going to be an incredible little project. I'm excited, and truthfully, I like these short projects. This has been a common trait, recurring trait over the last few years with this movement that we're talking about. But these short 15, 20, maybe 25-minute long projects, and a
I
lot of
like them
them
too.
over the time. I like it. I
I
really
like them
do.
too. once I actually got done with this and listened to it, because if I'm doing a project that's 5 songs, I'm not going to just record 5 songs. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks do that nowadays. I'm going to record it at least. If I'm doing 5 songs, I'm going to record at least 10 and then pick from that or whatever. But once I actually got it done and picked the songs that I wanted and put them in, I'm like, man, this shit is dope. You know, that little quick. I think it's 15 minutes altogether. So yeah, it's real dope, man. This shit is real dope. Every beat, is just dope on it. You know what I'm saying? The subject matter is dope. The cover art. This might be my dopest cover art. You know what I'm saying, for my project. I got
Who did the
it's kind of
artwork?
like a cartoon. I can't remember the artist's name. He's some guy from overseas too. He's on my Instagram. I gotta look him up.
Gotcha.
I'm definitely gonna get back to you with that. But it's me. You know what I'm saying, blindfold, samurai. It's samurai me, cartoon samurai me. You know what I'm saying. I got blindfold. I got my blade with me. You see this big dragon serpent behind me. You know what I'm saying. So I'm blindfold with my blade. You know what I'm saying. And that blade work on dragons and MCs. You know what I'm saying. Dragon and MCs to get that blade work. You heard me?
Man, I can't wait for this project. I'm a big Saputa fan, at least from what I've heard. I'm a big fan of yours as well, at least from what I've heard. This project is destined to be dope. I would love to be able to own this on vinyl as well. It sounds like something that should be out on vinyl anyhow. Man, this is really good news. I'm so glad that you were able to share this here with us because I think anyone that actually takes the time to check out you and anyone that's familiar with Saipuda already, and he does have a little bit of a name that's bubbling up in this underground scene right now. I think people are going to be excited about this project. I really do.
Right, right. Another producer that I'm looking forward to putting together an EP where I got one basically already ready to go. I just gotta do the last final works on it. Is a guy called Sincere Noble. He's one of my favorite producers too. I believe he's from Rhode Island, but he's out in Sacramento right now, something like that. You can check him out
Gotcha. I'm not
on
familiar with the
Instagram.
name.
He's cool. Yeah, he got some dope shit. He's on both of my albums. See on hashtag Mood, he did the song "Let It Go" featuring my homie
Okay.
Moni Adios. He did that beat right there, and then on Free Game, he did the song "Immaculate Players." He did that
Okay.
joint too.
Man.
Oh yeah, me and him. I'm gonna team up with him, get the EP out. You know what I'm saying? Sincerely. His name is Sincere Noble. You know what I'm saying?
Sincere Noble.
So
Man, again, for those listening at home, do your homework. Check out Shaaf. If you made it this far into the interview, I assume you've already heard some of his music, but take the time out of your day, listen to these albums, listen to hashtag Mood, listen to hashtag Free Game. If you're listening to this in a couple weeks' time, or if the interview's been out for a long time, go back and do your homework on anything else that the dude has released. He's super fucking dope. I can't thank you. I can't thank you enough, man, for taking the time out of your night to speak to me. This has been a blast of a conversation. Where can people find you? Where can people stay up to date on current music?
on my Instagram, check me out on Instagram. That's Shaaf SHAAF underscore boom trap. You know what I'm saying? That's SHAAF underscore boom trap, like boom bap but boom trap. Check me on Instagram. You can stay up on all of my latest releases. Whenever that new Confidence coming out, you'll find out there. When I got the project with Sincere Noble dropping, you'll find out there. Videos to come is on there. I got merch, stuff like that. Any new features, anything, you know what I'm saying? Check me right out on Instagram.
Man, you heard the man. Do your homework, follow the dude on Instagram, and do your homework and check out these releases as well. Quality music coming out of Buffalo, New York. Thank you once again, man. This has been a blast. We'll definitely have you back on again in the future whenever you have new material coming out. Let's stay in contact. Let's do these again.
No doubt. Appreciate you. Have be safe. Hey, yo, what's going on? It's Shaft. You now tuned in to the Renaissance Show with my homie Alex. We'll be breaking in and giving y'all a good taste of all of the upcoming artists. Get right.